Yo, guys. It is Old Man G here, back again. RDS back again for another Manchester United transfer news show. There is so much to talk about today. I mean, I don't know how we're going to go, but yeah, guys, before we get into it, if you are new to the channel, to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter at Red Devil Studio X. We're on Twitch, we're on Instagram, Twitter. Just follow the socials. You know the score, guys. Big up everyone who's obviously watching the chat. Big up, Brock. Good evening to you, buddy. There's been a lot of interesting news that's come out today for Manchester United. The biggest one, obviously, being what you can see to the screen to the right, which is a big up Zahir, man, Old Man G. Big up, buddy. Big up, big up, big up. The biggest you can see is to the right of the screen here. The Ornstein bomber. The Ornstein bomber drop. Obviously, although Ben Jacobs did cover it at least a little bit, I'm going to go to it in a second. Is about Mbeumo to United. Is the deal is on, deal close. I'm not going to say deal done or anything like that. We're going to also quickly update about Bruno, because I've not really talked about the update regarding Bruno to Al Hilal. There's been some reports, some Fabrizio come out regarding Rasmus to Inter Milan, Rasmus going, how that's going to look like. I suspect it's going to be a loan move. A little update regarding Sancho as well, because the deadline for whether he's going to go to Chelsea or not is going to be coming in as well. So, like I said, let's get into it first. As David Lawson, as you can see, David Lawson saying right now, exclusive. Mbeumo decides he wants to join Manchester United, and Man FC now expect to open talks with Brentford in bid to sign 25-year-old forward this summer. He's only 25, by the way. Likes of Arsenal, Newcastle, and Tottenham all interested, but Cameroonian international favourites Old Trafford if deal agreed. I mean, the United pull is there. Arsenal, Newcastle, Spurs. Now, Spurs, whatever. You know, Arsenal interested. Arsenal, Spurs, and Newcastle all have CL football. And yet, Mbeumo was like, the United pull. The Manchester United pull is there for Manchester for Mbeumo right now. I'll talk a bit about what Ben Jacobs said. Whether or not maybe Onana has something to do it, I don't know. Zaya says, Old Man G, addressing the lack of creators was always going to be a first point of call. Agreed. Next point needs to be in the midfield. Exactly. We definitely, for me, this is, you know, I know a lot of people want an Onana change, and I think that's fair. But for me, the attack and to a certain extent the midfield needs to be changed, because I don't think Amarin is happy with the midfield either. Because your midfield is still Casemiro, Agate, Mainu, and potentially Bruno. Eriksen is obviously gone. And that midfield is just completely imbalanced. Something needs to happen with it, and hopefully we can sign midfield as well, especially if Bruno does in fact go. Ahmad right wing back next season. Yep, I see that as well. So obviously this confirms a lot of interest that we were seeing a lot over the days that there were talks about Mbeumo coming to Manchester United. You know, this is a guy who scored. If I recall, he scored 20 Premier League goals last season for Brentford. Like if I search like Premier League top goal scorers 24-25, and Mbeumo was fourth. Like the top was obviously Salah as a right. He was obviously as a right winger, and so it is going to be interesting because you know, we're not, Amram doesn't play with wingers, so I'm curious to see how he will fit in Amram's system. If you look at the top four, Salah obviously 29, Isak obviously Newcastle not going on 23, Haaland with 22, and Mbeumo with 20 G, and then I think he had 6-7 GA, so 27 GA in the Premier League season. He's coming to Manchester United. That is a coup. That is a coup. That is a coup, because at least, unlike Højlund and others that we brought in, we have someone who is a Premier League proven goal scorer. Lukaku was, to be fair, at Everton, and to be fair to him, I still think Lukaku is better than what we've had recently. I'm one of the people that think it was a mistake for us to sell Lukaku, because quite frankly, he still scored 20 GA across the season that he was in. compared to what we have now, where none of our attackers have even come close to 20 GA this season. None of them have. None of them have. So for me, this is a steal. This is an absolute steal for this guy, and we need as Mega says, big club things, man, big club things. No use of football. You signed Kuhn in the bag. You got on Mbeumo as well. This is what Manchester United listen to. This is how we roll. This is how we need to improve, and this is how we need to go forward and succeed and continue sort of going forward. Schmidland and Edison would be ideal. I mean, again, it will be dependent on the Bruno situation. I will talk about that. I don't think he's going to go. I think his family probably don't want to go to Saudi, even though the money is there. I think they would rather stay here, which is fine. But obviously, 100. If you don't have that 100 from Bruno money, you're going to have to get the money from somewhere else. So that is obviously important. Remember to like, share, and subscribe at the bottom of my own corner. I told you we spend more without UCL football. I mean, we'll see, because we've not put the bid in yet. We've spent 60 mil on Cunha, and we're spending 50 mil on thank you. We might be spending 50 mil on I think we'll see. We're already going to spend 30 million on Mbeumo anyway. Like, we're already going to spend on Mbeumo anyway. So that was on the lap anyway. So basically, Brentford want 50 mil. I suspect there will be some negotiation to try and bring it down to maybe 40, 45, because then, if you combine the Kunu money and let's say a 40 mil offer for Mbeumo, then suddenly that's 100 mil. And that's, United's budget for the summer was always going to be 100, 120 sort of mil before any sales. So if we buy Cunha and Mbeumo, that's already United's budget. Then the situation will be, well, okay, who can we offload and who can we sell to make profit, which will probably be the likes of Garnacho and Rashford. Because quite frankly, if you're signing Mbeumo and you're going to sign Cunha, I don't really know where Garnacho and Rashford fit anymore. I don't, now, we obviously aren't playing with wingers in Amram's system. If he unfortunately goes, another manager may bring in wingers that way, and then you can see Mbeumo do his thing. So, but, I could see where United can go. Well, if we can sell Garnacho and Rashford, who will be sold purely for profit, 60 million for Garnacho, 40 million for Rashford. That's 100 million of pure profit, and then some. Maybe take some wages off for Højlund. Obviously, you're going to make the losses for Sancho and Anthony, etc. But the additional 100 million gives United a bit more leeway to do more things. But you've got to make the players sell. You've got to sell Rashford and Garnacho for me if you want to buy more. And for me, United probably need to go for a midfielder, a midfielder as well. Who, I don't know. A midfielder, a new goalkeeper would be fine, but we'll see what happens. Ten Hag's legacy means you still have payments owed to clubs or players. Bond. Exactly. That's why I keep on telling people, say, oh yeah, if we'll sell, we just have to sell, Sancho, or make money. Like, we're making losses on Sancho, on Anthony, on that's Ollie, to be fair, on Højlund. We are making losses on these players. So think of that how you will, but at the end of the day, like, you need to pay. Money has to go to those players somehow. So it's tricky, it's difficult, it is what it is. But yeah, I think the Manchester United definitely will need to self-buy. But yeah, like I said, in fact, let's do another poll. Let's do another poll, shall we? Is Mbeumo a good signing? Is Mbeumo Mbeumo a good Okay, yes. So just a quickly poll: is Mbeumo a good signing for United? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. So because, like I said, we've got a lot of news to cover today. Watch out for Ten Hag signings at Leverkusen. Well, this is an interesting. He's buying players from his yeah. Watch out for Ten Hag signings at Leverkusen. He's buying players from his agency. I know. I always did say that I did think the whole thing with Ten Hag buying players was a little bit dubious. It was very dubious. I'll be honest. A lot of them that through his agency, who he knew, who he worked with, etc. It was very, very dubious. You know, Oli didn't do that. Mourinho didn't do that. Amram doesn't appear to be doing that. It just feels a little bit was a little bit dubious. I think. Thank you. I think that we can take advantage of that, because I would imagine that there'll be certain players that Ten Hag will say, "Listen, I want this player at Bayer Leverkusen," and maybe we can do some deals at Bayer Leverkusen. If I'm honest, I would offload Mount to Sweet, because we can't rely on the guy who's going to be injury prone. I would. Bayer Leverkusen probably have more money than Betis, so potentially Anthony could go with him to Leverkusen potentially. Who else? Who else is this fair? Lisandro. You know, there's an argument that Lisandro could potentially. People forgotten that Lisandro is part of Manchester United, but there is an argument to be had that he could maybe should leave, given the fact that he's starts to become injury prone. United have brought in Heaven. They brought in Euro. You obviously got Maguire doing his thing. You know, so he did struggle a little bit. So there's an argument there. So who knows who can come? Who knows? Let me just quickly say, because obviously Ben Jacobs did also talk a little bit about this earlier. So I'm just going to share this tab now, and hopefully everyone can see that. So first correct. So Ben Jacobs, this was an hour ago, and we'll go back further, did say talks with Bryan Mbuemo first call with at Alex Crook in May. Fair play from guy from TalkSport. So maybe TalkSport. I don't tend to rely on TalkSport, to be honest, but okay, fair enough. Like Matthias Cunha and Mbuemo saw the Man UFC project even without European football next season. No bid yet. Brentford want obviously 50 million and can extend Mbuemo's contract to protect his value. Summer departure expected. So that's something to be aware of that's not been mentioned. If they want to, Brentford could extend his contract and they could bid more. So Brentford are on the power seat right now. Not sure whether United are going to be able to get away with only spending 40, 45 mil for this guy. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's going to be very, very tricky. So yeah, let's obviously see what happens, But yeah, at the end of the day, I think we're not paying what Brentford want. It's just, can we do it in installments? How can we negotiate it, etc., etc. One would imagine if Thomas Frank, for example, leaves Brentford and goes to Spurs, maybe Brentford will want the cash or need the cash so they can obviously back or seal their new manager. So so there is that element as well. But we'll see what happens with that. Now he also mentioned, obviously, Stretford End. Man United still intend to try for Bryan Mbuemo, even if Bruno. So this is the issue. Even if Bruno Fernandes stays, he's one of the leading targets. And Mbuemo doesn't view for as an excellent deal breaker. And Brentford wants 50. Because initially the argument was that Newcastle and Arsenal and even Spurs were more selected because of the presence of European football. But at the end of the day, because of the pull, because of United's pull, we got what we got what we wanted. So the other thing as well is that, and this seems to be a key factor, is that Bruno Fernandes, even if Bruno Fernandes stays, they still want it. So that again tells me that I think the combined signings of Cunha and Mbeumo are enough, will be enough for the budget that Manchester United have. It'd have been different if we had UCL football, which is just a banal. I think if we'd had UCL football, we could have done more, probably got without sales. But now we're going to have to do sales. For me, the Cooney and Mbeumo appearances, and yeah, back again. Manchester United incented by Bruno Fernandes stays, and they said yeah. So that's the thing. So for me, I just don't see realistically where Rashford and especially in Amran's system, I just don't see where Rashford and Garnacho fit. Like I don't. Like Ahmad has at least been able to be adaptable. It would have been nice if, because what's so weird is that Ahmad has at least been able to adapt into the right wing back role. So I don't understand why Garnacho, for example, couldn't have adapted into a left wing back role. Now, obviously, Dorga is there, So, but let's see what happens. Lucky Singh says, "I'm going out personal terms. Give Brent for 140 performance based wages, but yeah, fair play, Lucky. Shortlist for the striker position." Mateta, yep. I think there was some conversation about Mateta going from Crystal Palace. Who's David? Oh no, is that what's his name? Jonathan David. Yeah, Jonathan David. Ramos, Colomwani. Who you taking RDS? I mean, Zaire. There is a possibility. Gyökeres is still not out. I still haven't given up hope about Gyökeres. I mean, it's unlikely, but if Arsenal do decide on Sesko, is Gyökeres still out of the question? I don't know. Obviously, I would like Osimhen as well, but his wages are a massive problem. So in which case, out of those that you've seen, to be honest, I'd have never really rated Colomwani. I think is okay. I've never really rated Ramos, to be honest. Jonathan David would definitely be interesting, especially because he would be on a free, I think. So if we're talking about someone who you're like, right, okay, we don't have any money, so he won't come with a transfer fee, I don't think. We could obviously go and sign him. So that would be in Marteta. Marteta you could, but Palace would be difficult. Palace would be difficult. No, they would charge a lot. I think he's got quite a few years left on his contract, so it'd be difficult. Where Manchester United still working and still working at 20 times. It's crazy. Atonement, man. Big club things, man. Big club things. Manchester United. This is what I'm saying. Manchester United. We're still a big club, irrespective of what anyone says. You're Manchester United. Come, that's it. Imagine if we. This is what's so painful about the Olympics. If we had gotten UCL football, the whole Gyökeres thing. There's no debate there. There's no debate there. If we got on UCL even football, there's no debate. There's no debate. He comes to United, regardless of where Arsenal, regardless of where we finish or whatever. He comes. That's it. So, but it still works apparently. Rob, it's good that we are doing this earning. That's something that's going to be a busy window with the ins and outs. We could cook next season. I mean, I hope so, Rob. I hope so. Obviously, the man's got to run. I mean, I think the clear thing is the reason why is because we got to remember. Ruben Amorim came midway through the season. He didn't have a transfer window, really. He's not had a preseason work with these players. I need to see at least, because I'm still not 100% convinced yet. So I need to see Ruben Amorim with at least a good transfer window, I think, and a good preseason to implement his ideas. And then when he's implemented his ideas, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens if he does that, and it succeeds, and I have confidence, especially with these signings, because quite frankly, Ten Hag's signings were not it. I don't really know what Ten Hag was wanting to achieve by his signings. I'll be honest. I really, really don't know what he wanted to achieve with his signings, because when you think of and I don't know, maybe it was, maybe it was the board, but I'm just trying to understand the logic. I'm trying to understand logic behind saying, right, okay, we want to give up by Xerxes and Rasmus Højlund. So I don't know. So I don't understand the logic. I don't. I really don't. And we spent essentially 100 million for both of those players. One of them was a number 10, is a 9.5, 10 sort of thing. Xerxes is not a 10. And Højlund, although it's a 9, is definitely not worth 72 million pounds on a wing to do what exactly? I don't know. I think there was something with Ten Hag's agency. I think there was something going on there. But putting that to one side, I think when you look at the line, if we do sign Cunier, you let Rashford and Garnacho go. Whatever your thoughts on Garnacho, I think that's probably going to be happening. Your attacking line then comes at least. You assume Sancho and Antony going as well. So it's basically Cunier and Mbeumo. Xerxes will obviously be there. Aman will be there. Bruno will be able to come in as well. And you'd expect United to sign another striker as well. That's where we are. Solo says, Ineos actually came into the window with a plan and are actually doing a good job getting it done. Yeah, I don't think, even last season, to be fair, I don't think that the transfers were bad. I don't think our signings were bad for what Ten Hag wanted. But I was just surprised that we didn't really get a proper striker, really. We didn't. Other than that, I think defensively, I think De Ligt was okay. I had no issues with De Ligt as a signing. Matswari, I think, was fine for Ten Hag's system. I'm not sure whether he's ideal for Amorim's, although I think that he should play in the back three, as opposed to a wing back. Who else do we sign in? Yoro, for me, has been a very, very good signing, a very good signing for the future. A lot of the youth that we brought in have been good as well. Yeah, so look, to me, I think Xerxes coming as well. Dorgu was Ten Hag. So, I don't think our summer transfer was that bad. I just think that we failed to really reinforce the striker department, and Agate being the only midfield player who was a destroyer, but not really anyone who could hold onto the ball, create, move, etc. And you setting one of the players who was essentially a box-to-box midfielder who'd score goals was a big mistake. And there we are. And Mbeumo will play the right 10. I think so. It is interesting because, I mean, maybe Zahir, if you're in the chat, you can help me out here, because I'm looking at this going, where does Bruno fit in here? Because you presumably you would start Kune and Mbeumo being the right 10, and then Kune being behind, and then your 9 is whoever, Xerxes, for example. Where does Bruno fit? Because we can't, like, what I don't want to happen is because Amorim insists that Bruno has to stay, he's a good man, he's a good guy, that we now have to fix or find a way to fit Bruno into the team. Because Mbeumo and Kune are not, I wouldn't say Mbeumo and Kune are outright strikers. I don't think they are outright strikers. I don't think they are. So methinks they would both play behind the number 9, whether that's Xerxes or Højlund, or if they buy another one. That's where I would say that they would play. Maybe Mbeumo can potentially play up top, but that interchangeability is fine. But I don't know. It's interesting. I certainly don't think you could spend 50 million and 60 million on players for these players to just be bench players. So I don't know where Bruno goes. If you're dropping Bruno deep in the midfield, for me, he can't play alongside Casemiro. We can't have the Bruno Casemiro situation that we had. That can't be the midfield for United going forward. So I actually don't know where Bruno fits here, even though Amorim wants him to stay, which I think is interesting. What's Lucky saying? Just been told going play Diallo, my smart Xerxes, but Dragoon and position stands and benefits to play for. Okay. Mega says, I like Mateta. Yeah, Mateta is would be fine. Mateta up top would be fine. I think the issue for me is just that I think Palace would charge a lot. I don't know how many more years left he has on his contract. I think he has let me see quickly. Mateta contract. Yeah, his contract is extended until yeah, so it's triggered extension to 2027. So he's got so 2 more years essentially. Maybe they might. If he was going into his final year, then maybe you could bully Palace. But now I'm not sure. Black Jesse. Bro, let's go, man. Let's go. Let's get some of that. We need some pace and power in this team. And that's no joke, to be honest. We actually do need some pace and power into this team. But Gyökeres would be a statement signing. It would be. And I still think we should try and go for him as much as we can. My only hope, like I said, is just that he is everyone else. If Arsenal don't go for him and they go for Sesko instead, let's go. Simple as that, really. Make sure you like the vid, subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. To whenever you're watching, really appreciate it, guys. we have football heritage. If it's just Arsenal and United as the EPL choices, Gyökeres will pick United. Will he? Really? That'd be interesting. If he does, it'd be interesting. It would be interesting if he does actually pick even without UCL football, if he picks United over Arsenal. Obviously the Amram pull is there, and maybe if Gyökeres is seeing what's happening, and the trust and everything like that, maybe, because maybe you'd rather work with Amarim than say what's his name? Than say Arteta. So that is a possibility. But yeah, let's I don't know. Yeah, remember, guys, if you're watching, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio, bottom right-hand corner, please. We're on our road. We're chasing, ideally, 5K by the end of the summer transfer window. That is the plan. Let's try and get to 5K by the end of the summer transfer window and make a massive difference. I think if you keep Bruno and with Cunha and Mbeumo, it might get easier to. I think if you keep Bruno and with Cunha and Mbeumo, it might be easier to get Gyökeres. Yeah. I just don't know where Bruno would play. If Bruno's the captain, if he starts, where would he play? Let me know what people think. Where would he play? Okay, fair enough. Lucky. Manchester United had an astronomically bad season, which caused for an astronomically good transfer window. That is true. But obviously, it's the money. And whether or not Manchester United can do business in the summer transfer window will be very much dependent on player sales as well. We need to be doing, and obviously the transfer window has just opened up. It's the 1st of June. The Club World Cup kind of does throw things. I don't know how FIFA are going to do this, by the way. We're promoting the Club World Cup. This is banter tournament, but that obviously throws things into the span into the works, So, if anyone wants to check, when does the Club World Cup start? It must be. Is it July or something? And should I do watch-alongs for it? I don't know whether I should, because for me, it's a joke tournament. It's a joke tournament. I don't know why. Like a team like Inter Miami, for example, in it. What have they done? Yeah. Oh, 15th of June. Okay, so not actually that long. So it's a month. FIFA Club World Cup. Like, I'm seeing some of these teams, man. Seattle Sounders. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, just look at something like Juventus are even in there. These guys are washed. How are Juventus there? How are Dortmund there? Like, who decided this stuff? Like, anyway, it's fine. It's just wash tournament, man. But I'm only mentioning that because that will throw a spanner to works when it comes to transfers. He only moved to Sporting because, well, see, this is what I'm saying. So, and obviously, Amram wants him. Amram definitely wants him. He wants to. So, but I don't know. I certainly think Bruno leaving makes that easy. So there you go. Big up Lucky Singh. Robert Nash says, better days are coming. I hope so, buddy. I hope so, man. Rob, hit the like button, guys. Yes, please do. Please do. Please do. Please do. Please do, guys. Manchester United scouts that talks close to group fee 100k. Well, hopefully. Bruno doesn't fit. He has to leave, to be fair. He can't play 10 in the system or in the midfield. We saw this. This is what I'm saying. I just don't know where Bruno fits here. I don't know. Like, maybe he'll make it work, maybe for preseason. So, but I don't know. What I do know is that we need to sign another midfielder. Like, if Bruno is going to be, as Zahir says, Bruno becomes Potter's or Sporting mix of the false 10 centrally and advanced 8, then we have to get another midfielder because he can't do that with Casemiro, surely. I don't know how that will work. Okay, yep. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Toman. I think we need another world-class top midfielder. Would you agree, G? And 2, yeah. I don't know whether we're going to have the money to get a new keeper, though. That's what I keep on saying. For me, we need to get a striker. So right now, Bryan Mbuemo, we get a striker. That's it for forwards. Fine. We need to get a top midfielder. And then I would say that we need to get a new keeper, but in that order. Because, at least I'm happy with the defense. If we get the midfield and the striker, I'm like, yes, okay, Onana might make a mistake, but I'm at least confident that we'll at least be able to score at least more than an average of 2 goals a game because of what we have. So an odd mistake from Onana will be fine. And then in next summer or in January, we can move. Is my thing. It all depends on the sales. If we sell Bruno with that 100 mil and also Rashford and Garnacho, then I think you can get them all. You can do that all. I don't think you can do that right now. Is my personal opinion. I will say it's weird that none of these big clubs seem to be in for Gyökeres, especially considering how scarce. Well, I think it's circumstances. It's circumstances because City have Højlund, so they don't need a striker. Newcastle have Isak, for example, so they don't need a striker. Liverpool, I'm not sure. I feel Liverpool feel like they need to get rid of. They've got Nunes, and I feel they need to get rid of Nunes before they even anticipate signing a striker. Chelsea have Nico Jackson, have signed Delap. I don't get the impression that they. I mean, maybe they might want to go for Gyökeres, but I don't get the impression they seem that they. I don't know. I guess it's because, if they sign Gyökeres, if they want to sign, he's going to be the starting number 9. And I think there seems to be understanding in Chelsea that, there's appreciation for Jackson and Delap for competition. So I'm not entirely sure whether Chelsea wants to sign another main number 9 guy who's going to start and bench those other 2. Delap and Jackson not going to be happy just as being. So that there's that as well. So you're left with Arsenal, and they're probably the only team. And Arsenal obviously are deciding between Gyökeres and Sesko. Across Europe, PSG I think are fine. Barcelona and Real Madrid, you'd think none of them have real outright number 9s, so it's weird that none of them are really interested in them. Bayern have got Kane, so that's where we are. But yeah, for me, I think that it just if we'd got on Champions League football, we would have signed Gyökeres. We would have. So, and I don't think he's a wage merchant. Like he wants his wage to be really, really high. I just think he wants. Does he know the project will succeed? Or I don't know. The weight of influence on his meteoric rise outweighs Arsenal's current standing. Gyökeres won't forget that. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That is fair. Before I go into the comments, let's quickly move on. But I mean, obviously, I'm looking at the poll here for you guys. Yeah, we have a 40, but we've got votes. We've got 97% think that it's a good signing, and only 3% say no, which is probably a hater. So that's fine. So I think we should probably move on to really talk about Bruno again, and where we are with Bruno. So I've not really made any comments about that. Let me just quickly bring this thing up. Close again. Right. Okay. So let's have a look. Let's talk about Bruno now. Let us talk about Bruno. I'll share this tab. So again, from Ben Jacobs again. Al Hilal now believe an agreement with Bruno Fernandes is close after a week of positive meetings. Fernandes, and this is the key here thing, is currently deliberating with his family. A key fact in whether Fernandes agrees will be if the move is also right for his family. It will be more than just a full decision. Hilal want to find an answer by Friday. So we'll have an idea by Friday. No formal approach or bid yet to Manchester United, but Hilal's belief is a sell be sanctioned if Fernandes asked to leave. Man United still insists they don't want to sell the captain. So fundamentally, what is that where we are, Bruno, is that it seems that Bruno. I'm getting the impression that Bruno wouldn't mind. If Bruno wouldn't minded, he would have said no outright. So Bruno doesn't mind. The issue is, does his family want to move to Saudi? Are they happy moving to Saudi? Are they happy moving to Saudi? And that's where you have to make the conviction. As financially being a Saudi has been and is, fundamentally, I think Saudi are going to have to change if they want this to be a popular world league, which I make the case that they probably don't. I think they're just doing this so that in anticipation for the World Cup, which will be coming after the USA one. You know, they have to make it more appealing for people to go to live. The amount of players that I'm seeing that they go and get the bag, and then after a year, maybe two, they're like, I don't want to be here anymore, you know, so I don't like this. I'm gonna come back. You know, there's so many. What's his name? Henderson did it. So many players are going and then they come back, you know. I think people prefer the States, you know, so obviously language obviously is a thing as well. People prefer the States and the MLS most likely. But yeah, it is going to be interesting to see what and how Manchester United approaches Al Hilal. They obviously don't want to sell him, but then, like I said, as we talked about Gyökeres, etc. before, I don't know, you know. So how will you go for someone like Gyökeres or other signings when you need to sell if you do not at least have a major sale, which this might be. Let's see the comments here. Tom says, not to mention that Bruno is incredibly undisciplined. He doesn't stay in his position and tries to force him, which has been even noted by the manager. Who becomes captain if Bruno? I think the best candidate is MDL. Who's MDL? Who's MDL? I don't know who I think the best candidate. I'm trying to think. MDL. Who's MDL? I don't know who MDL is. Let me know in the chat. Who's MDL? I'm about to mind blank. Oh, Delete. Matthias Delete. Yeah, I've just seen it. Matthias Delete. Delete is captain. I mean, fine. The only thing is that I am worried about his injury record. So would he be available? Is the only thing. Outside of Delete, if you're going to play Casemiro in the midfield, then probably him. From a senior point of view. Other than that, you know, he does like Maguire. Maybe you give Maguire the captaincy again, because you know he does seem to like playing Maguire. So you could give the captaincy to Maguire as well. If we're talking about seniors, Maguire, Casemiro, okay, De Ligt, although he's still young. Yeah, that's it, I think. It's the Darwinist curse. Seeing both careers in League of Portugal, Jokeris is different. He gets minimated 20 careers in the Prem. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. Bob, I really hope we get Jokeris, but like you say, if Bruno does go and we move some players on, then we could bring in the players we need. And this is the thing, you know. So this is what I'm trying to say. It is. We've had a terrible league campaign, and at the end of the day, we need to do a lot. we need to do more than we're already doing right now. And I just think that at the end of the day, the only way to sort of is to make a major sale. I think that with what we have, yes, Bruno Fernandes would be a loss from a captain player, his confidence point of view, it would be. But we need to sign players. We need to. I mean, could we go into the season right now with Mbeumo and Kune? I think we need to do more. We need to get a midfielder. We need to get an actual striker. We still need to do more in this window. In an ideal world, we'd actually be trying to get competition for likes of Rashford and Garnacho, i.e., people to outbid. Because I mean, Rashford, you know, his wages are going to be a bit tricky, so you know, getting forward might be. But Garnacho, there should easily be multiple buyers if he's going to go. There should easily be multiple buyers for the dude. There should be. Delete, yes. The fact that it's still dragging on speaks volumes to him potentially leaving. Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I think that it's said for me. It just says to me that like it's that he's considering it. If he didn't consider it, then it went just outright rejection. I'm not interested. He's obviously considering it, but the fact that it's not been agreed means that there is obviously a stumbling block. In part, probably because United, because of course, the most important thing that people forget about this deal is that Al Hilal have not actually they've not actually sent an offer. You know, it's just the reports have said, okay, yes, they might bid 80 mil, but they've not actually sent an actual offer to Manchester United yet. And I think when they send an actual offer to Manchester United, then okay, fine, we can have a conversation about you know, how much and what have you. But you know, this whole 100 million and this and that, so they've not sent an offer yet. They've not, and they're only going to send an offer based on Bruno sort of agreeing. So would United turn down 80 million? But I think that if they do send an offer, and where we do have the leverage as Manchester United, is that if Bruno does say yes, and then they send an offer, United can at least be like, now we want more, and squeeze the money out of these guys. Because then it's like, okay, well, we know the player wants to come, right? We're going to try and get some money. And I think they would probably go to at least 100 million. You know, if we get 100 million from Bruno, you know, we got to take it, I think. Maguire, more logical. Sevcoats was his captain. Yeah, Maguire, for me, you know, if Bruno goes, makes the most sense from just a purely seniority point of view. That's what makes sense to me. So yeah. So obviously, for those watching, make sure you like, subscribe to Red Devil Studio, bottom right hand corner. I think we need to obviously watch this space when it comes to Bruno Fernandes, you know, and take things from there. Moving on swiftly, so we're approaching the hour mark, and I must bounce soon. So we are going to. So yeah, Rasmus. We need to talk about Rasmus Højlund as well. This is interesting. So Fabrizio, we've not talked from Fabrizio for a while. Rasmus to Inter. That is interesting. Manchester United doing bits as we do. Rasmus to Inter Milan. So Fabrizio obviously saying, understand Inter have made contact with Rasmus Højlund's camp in the recent days as talks started for Danish striker. As exclusive revealed 2 days ago, Højlund is one of the main options on Inter shortlist to Bryan Mbuemo. Now, I don't know what this is because, like I said, I don't think that and in fact, I'm going to put up another poll. I'm going to end this one. So because obviously everyone thinks from, so I'm going to put up a poll. Should we sell or loan Rasmus? Okay, so I'll put sell and then loan, because I think this is what the conversation is going to be regarding Rasmus. Because again, he's still young, and we spent 70 mil on this guy. I'm just going to see if Fabrizio's updated any news. That's what Benfica. Nazi story. Hold up. We posted about this more recently, Fabrizio. Come on. Barcelona on about the João Garcia deal from Espanyol. Theo Fernandes. Oh wow, that's a drop off. Al Hilal and AC Milan for Theo Hernandez. That is a massive drop off. Wow. Jude Bellingham, Allegri for Al Hilal into the Joe Bellingham. Sorry. Luka Modric, AC Milan. Anyway, I'm busy doing all this sort of stuff. Yeah, talk about Mbeumo. Where's the Rasmus news? Come on. Where's the Rasmus? There we go. Okay, I don't think there's any update there. So yeah, I think with this one, I can't see selling would be interesting. But it's going to be a loan, in part because we take a massive loss if we did. These potential. I think the thing about Rasmus is I think there is something there, but he needs a good loan. He needs to come. Like, his confidence was just shot at United. We destroyed his confidence last season. It was awful. He was leading. He shouldn't have been. Like, I know a lot of people criticize Rasmus, but the thing is, being only 20, he shouldn't be the one responsible for leading the United line for Manchester United. It was wrong to have him and Xerxes be the ones to lead line for Manchester United. That was wrong. It should have been Kane, for example, and then you can bring on Rasmus to compete or to learn or to play in some of the FA Cup and different things like that. That's what you could do. Develop him. So for me, he needs a loan. He needs a loan away from United to develop his confidence, and we can take things from there. Rob says, if Bruno does go, I'd like to see Harry Maguire captaining. I don't think it will affect him. No, I don't think it will. I think the pressure will be on him as much. And I think this back three system suits Maguire as well. Like I said, if club says they want 121 million, then they'll prefer to go to Al Hilal. Fine. Rasmus loans for me. Rasmussen needs to be far away from the Premier. Dave wants to give more time. I'll check at Ornstein and see what he's doing. He was good in the UCL last season. Yeah, he was. And I think even in Europa this season he's been okay. But in the Premier League, in such a physical league, and this is the thing, the Premier League really is about physicality. Like, if you're number 9, you need to be able to be physical, to be able to bully a lot of the Premier League defenders. You need to. If you're not, then it's a problem. That's just how it is. Sell Rasmus to Inter, see if they throw in Marcus Thuram in the deal. But just how much? I don't think Inter just don't have the money. Like, I don't think Inter have the money to you know, obviously they I think Inter bought Lukaku from us, so they had that. But I just don't think Inter have the money to right now, especially with what's his name, Allegri going and a few different things. I don't know where Inter going to get the money from. Basically, if they do have it, great. Maybe you could sell him for say 50 mil and take a loss. That's fine. But I think as it stands now, I suspect it'll be like a loan deal for a year, a loan deal, which I think go Syria, get your confidence back, see what happens. That for me is what I would is what I would do um, with with Rasmus. I feel bad for the kid. There were a lot of times during that season when he was just you could see that he just needed the goal. He just needed a goal. It was more relief for Rasmus than it was about scoring goals. I feel bad. I'm just reading some things with Sancho, but yeah, let me know what you think. I'm just looking at the poll here. Let's have a look here. Yeah, we've got here about 62% loan, 30% say sell. So yeah, I don't know. I think it will be realistically, it'll be a lot easier to loan Rasmus than it will be to sell him. I think realistically. I'm just trying to find a good tweet on Sancho. Maybe this might be interesting. I'm not sure how official it is, but yeah. Anyway, let's watch this. I'll leave this space on Rasmus, and we'll end with talking about Sancho. Let's see what happens with the Rasmus deal, though. So, lastly, before we obviously round things up, let's quickly talk about Sancho here. Now, I'm going to share this tab, not because I think that Max London First is a reliable source, but that obviously there is ongoing talk about, well, essentially in the upcoming days, we should know whether Sancho is coming back to Manchester United or not, fundamentally. He obviously wants to stay at Chelsea, but I thought this was interesting because it says Jadon Sancho's reps were asking for 200k a week initially, unclear on outcome. Chelsea won't go anywhere near that, instead offering 110 to 140, which is what I thought. Sancho is on close to 300k a week at United, and if he's gonna go to Chelsea, he'd have to at least cut his wages by half. By half. And this is what I tell a lot of people, the pro Sancho stuff like that. It's like, yeah, by all means, Sancho can go to Dortmund, he can go to all these places, but are these places going to be able to afford to pay his wages? No. If Sancho is a baller and he cares about his football and football only, that's what he loves, then he'll take a pay cut and play for Chelsea, or he'll go to Dortmund, whichever one. Okay. If I was his agent, I'd be speaking to Dortmund and saying, do you have a sort of thing? But really and truly, this loan has not been great for Sancho. Yes, he won the Club World Cup. Sure, fine, it's all good, but it's not been great. It's not been great for him. And, I think that, I don't know. For me, this is 50-50 as to whether or not I actually think that he will stay or go. I just don't know about the player, but I'm leaning more towards the fact that he's going to stay, because I just can't see, with knowing who Sancho is, I just can't see how he'd be happy taking a basically docking half of his wages, because that's the hold up here. The hold up here is not about what position on play time. The hold up here is I want 200k minimum, and you're saying that I should have 110. According to this, anyway, it's saying that you're wanting me to have 110 to 140k, a week. This is a week, by the way, which is insane amount. Footballers do get paid too much money, man. 110, 100K a week. It's insane. You know? Anyway, but yeah, this is this is insane. And then you say, right, I'm gonna try under Amram. I think Amram has probably moved on, mate. Amram certainly is the type of that's not going to deal with any of this nonsense, So with Sancho's nonsense, all this, putting stuff out on Instagram on the manager, etc. He's already done it with Garnacho, gone. So I don't know how, if Jadon's going to come back, how it's going to work. I think he comes back. We're still going to try and offload this guy, maybe to Dortmund. Dortmund come, offers 40 mil, but if Sancho isn't going to budge and is just going to stay and not go anywhere, and just cost us wages, then personally for me, I'll be honest, he can rot in the reserves. He can rot in the reserves because at the end of the day, you have a club that potentially that you can go to in Chelsea, maybe Dortmund. And the main reason why you're not going to go to clubs is not because of there not being a deal for you or no one can pay a fee. It's because you want your wages to be still be the same. That's it. It has nothing to do with football ability, etc. It's you want your wages to stay the same. It's really simple as that. I'm tired of this guy. It's a shame that I didn't work out, but I just think that the Premier League is just not. The Premier League is just not it for Sancho. It's just not it. It's not it. Yeah, at least that's what I think anyway. Let's have a look. Best transfer so far this season is Dao Isoko to Chelsea. That kid is special. He's better version. Yeah, I mean, I saw that. Chelsea obviously investing in youth, man. Chelsea obviously investing in youth and doing a very, very good job about it. I just wish United would as well, because it's obviously paying dividends. We laughed at Chelsea and you could still say a case that Chelsea invested 1 billion and won a Conference League, but at the end of the day, I know the clear strategy for Chelsea Football Club, and the clear strategy for Chelsea Football Club is we're going to develop all these buy these guys cheap, and then we're going to then basically just form our core squad and then loan the other players out, sell them on, make profit, and do our thing that way. That's their strategy. That's what they're going to do. Simple as that. Sancho where will he fit in the system? His people's associate might just come back and money talks, like you say, G. Yeah, of course. But like I said, like you, I don't know where he fits in the system. I think Amram will obviously be aware because the club has moved on. Amram will be aware of the Sancho debacle, but I don't know where he fits, especially if you're getting Kune and Mbeumo and a striker. Where's he going to go? Unless for me, he's as a right wing back. In Amram's system, it doesn't work because Ahmad's there, and Ahmad is more defensively switched on than Sancho. He's younger, he's quicker as well. Sancho's not that quick. Yes, he can score like lovely goals and G's. I don't disagree there. He's got the test to do that, but he needs to play in a winger type system, which we're not doing. Could he play on the left? I don't know. He might be able to play on the left, maybe the left wing back, possibly instead of Dorgu. Maybe I don't know. For me, he'd have to adapt. If you're going to fit him in, he'd have to be played on the left, and it'd be maybe between him and Dorgu. But we've got that Leon kid coming from Paraguay, who no one seems to have talked about. I'm genuinely curious because no one's spoken about this this guy, this Leon kid who's supposed to be our new left wing back. United haven't announced it. No one's announced it. No one's talking about this guy. Like, where is he? Is he still coming? Like, I think we signed him, so like, but where's this, I don't know. Like, where is he? I don't know what's going on. Jadon Sancho, of course. I mean, Bayer Leverkusen with Ted Hag, definitely not. He's not going. Sancho plays a 10, maybe. I mean, yeah, could he could possibly. So because obviously with Mbeumo and Kune doing their thing, you could possibly put him as a 10 there. I don't think it worked at United, but it's possible to squeeze him there. Because what you probably need 4 10s, don't you? Really, especially if one of Kune and Mbeumo get injured. Unless Mbeumo goes in the striking role, but you do. So if we've got 4 right now, assuming that Anthony's going, yeah, Bruno can obviously potentially play there, although as Zaya said, it could be the more of a false 8. Sorry, false 10, progressive 8. Rashford is gone. Garnacho can't play there. Ahmad potentially can play there, but I prefer him on the right wing anyway. So he should stay there. Yeah, maybe 10 is an option. Yeah, maybe 10 is an option. I don't doubt that, Rob. It's just yeah. It's more Sancho's attitude, to be honest. I just think that might be a big issue for Amorim going forward. If he was like that with Garnacho, I mean, he's definitely going to be like that with Sancho, surely. But yeah, watch this space anyway. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. It's been a great 1 hour stream. Remember, if you are new to the channel, we'll obviously be back potentially tomorrow if there's more new transfer news. If you are new to the channel, to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter at WeUnitedX and smash that notification button for latest Manchester United news as more. We're on Twitch, we're on Twitter as well, Kick, most social media platforms, so please head over, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Have a nice day, everyone, and cheers. Peace.